Excuse me, but would you mind sitting elsewhere? There I was, at Istanbul airport, minding my own business. I had a few hours until my flight. I had finally found a place to sit down and eat the pre-packed meal that I brought along with me. As I was about to put a forkful of food into my mouth, a woman with a baby in her arms came up to me and asked, "Excuse me, but would you mind sitting elsewhere? Too many people over there and I have a baby." I look at my food, and then I look at the lady, shocked at the request. I'm thinking how to compute this. A woman decides to travel with a baby, and is in one of the busiest airports in the world. She must have the means and ability to pay for a flight and likely more, since she's here. She thinks that because she has a child, some single person should be removed to make way for her to be prioritized. For some reason, I should go sit in a more crowded area because I'm single? I remained shocked and confused. I simply looked at her without responding. She must have understood the expression on my face, because she soon said, "Oh, never mind, we will sit elsewhere." No apologies for disturbing me, of course, because I'm not important anyway. Us single, child-free people are often considered less than or even useless.
OP Stories here. I am not child-free, but I support those who are. Having a child isn't for everyone, so let's just respect each other's differences. Also, a like and subscribe would be super awesome too. Thank you.
How to respectfully tell my in-laws I'm not babysitting on vacation. So my husband and I are going on a cruise with his entire family in November. Some backstory: I can't stand his dad. He never meets people where they're at, he expects everyone to be the version of themselves he wants them to be. I guess he has envisioned that we'll all be this big happy family and chip in wherever needed without any regard to our own needs and desires. So anyway, my sister-in-law has a 2-year-old and an infant. Phil casually mentions that we all need to chip in and babysit while on the cruise. I silently hope my sister-in-law wouldn't actually ask that. But then she casually mentions there's 2 kids and 8 adults, so there's plenty of people to watch the kids. So now it definitely seems like his family expects us to watch their kids on our vacation. I've got a mouth on me and I wouldn't put it past me to tell them to F off, burn that bridge, and have 0 regrets about it. I cut off my own toxic family and I'd do it again. But I respect my husband and I know he wouldn't like me doing that. How can I respectfully tell them I'm not going to babysit? Edit, y'all, I said respectful. Those of you saying I should cut off the whole family and calling my husband a doormat are not helping. I already said in my description that I'd tell him to F off and cut ties. I know that's a solution, it's a solution I'm trying to avoid. Since we always hear about the man changing his mind, what about the other side of the coin? I so often hear about the men changing their minds about having kids or pushing their partner to have kids, but what about the other side of the coin? So, now I'm going to use my past to give the other side of the coin. My first wife, because from the beginning knew that I was adamant about being child-free, and she said she agreed with me. Once we were married, she started dropping hints about wanting kids, trying to get me to hold her friends' kids, etc., but I stuck to my stance that I don't ever want kids. About a year after getting married, she stopped taking birth control without telling me. I guess she was hoping she could, accidentally, get pregnant and that would change my mind. When that didn't happen, she went so far as to look into fertility treatments, again without telling me. She really tried everything to get pregnant and get me into a life that I was very clear from the beginning I never wanted. So long story short, we got divorced because she had baby fever and thought she could change my mind and push me into a life I didn't want. Wasted several years of my life that I didn't need to waste on someone that knew from the start they didn't want the same things in life as me. Side note, she was never able to get pregnant by me because for my 29th birthday my present to myself was getting fixed so that there was never any chance of me reproducing. Edit to clarify, I didn't secretly get snipped. I had the procedure done before we were a couple. I made my intention of being child-free very clear from day one. Perhaps I could have been more forthcoming that it would never happen no matter what because I had been snipped. I actually do know what unconditional love is. So, one of the annoying things parents always claim when trying to convince themselves and others that having kids is the only choice in life is, oh, you don't know what love is until you have a child of your own. I disagree with this because I'm 33 and my parents have loved me unconditionally my entire life. I can't think of a single thing I could do that would ever make them turn their backs on me. I think there are a lot of people who had shitty parents themselves and are convinced that they can compensate for that by having children of their own. Yet they don't realize how selfish and messed up that is. What if you aren't actually capable of unconditional love? What if all you do is continue the cycle of abuse and end up resentful of the child you brought into the world in the hope of curing your trauma? I feel for anyone who had a bad childhood. I'm fortunate enough to not know what that's like, but I can empathize, of course. But having kids is not the solution you think it is. I'm not actually directing any of this at CF people, of course, but maybe this will help someone who is on the fence. Do you have a secret little subreddit that is a favorite? Share it in the comments and it could become the next big thing.